Am I the asshole for threatening to kick my brother out over his lifestyle choices? He's a nudist. Recently, my 27 female brother, 23 male, lost his job and couldn't afford rent. I decided to let him stay at my apartment rent-free until he got another. I'm able to support 2 people and we have a great relationship, and he agreed to do half of the chores and the cooking. He cooks pretty well, so I thought it was a great deal. Well, yesterday when I came home from my job, I had the surprise to see my brother naked on my couch, watching the TV. I froze a bit out of shock, then asked him what the hell he was doing sitting on my couch naked. He then tried to explain himself, but I told him to put clothes on and then we would talk later. Once he got dressed, he told me that he was a nudist and that he preferred not to wear clothes because it was healthier and more natural. I told him I didn't have a problem with him being a nudist, it's just that I didn't want to see him naked in my own home. I explained that he's my brother and I don't feel comfortable seeing his private parts and all that, even if he doesn't see nudity as sexual, cause I did. He answered that he wouldn't put clothes on when he was home and that it was tiring enough having to be dressed in public. I said if he wanted to be naked at home, he needs to find his own place. Make a decision, wear clothes here or he had to get out. Today he mostly ignored me and was clothed, thankfully, and I feel guilty.
My daughter received a bike from her uncle, my brother, on her birthday. She was over the moon and excited to use it because it had been on her wish list for so long. Days ago, I discovered that my husband reached out to my brother to ask for the receipt for the bike and returned it to the store, and kept the money for himself while my daughter was at school. The bike was at home. My daughter and I got home and she started crying after noticing the bike was gone. My husband was home at the time. He told me he returned the bike and got money in return to spend on something useful for us, since the bike was just there as a distraction, and there was no need for it now since we're in the dead of winter. I was aggravated and lost it on him, saying it wasn't his, didn't come from him. He didn't pay for it, so he had no right to touch it, especially knowing our daughter's been wanting it for a long time, and my brother was decent enough to buy it for her despite barely having money to get him by. I told him what he did was theft and insisted he handed over the money to me so I could repurchase it, but he said he spent it on stuff for the house and doesn't have any money left now. But I knew about the money he was stashing away in the bedroom that he forbade me from touching, and I took some of it and went out to repurchase the bike while he was out the next day. He found out and verbally lashed out at me, saying I should never have touched the money he was saving for himself, which isn't much, but I lashed right back that I had to so I could repurchase the bike he took from under our daughter. He explained that he didn't keep the money for himself and instead spent it on necessities for our home, but he was at fault for taking the bike first, and he was responsible for getting it back. He yelled at me for almost 10 minutes, then stormed outside and started smoking. My daughter asked why her dad was upset and that she no longer wants the bike if dad doesn't want her to have it, but I assured her that's not the case and told her she shouldn't feel guilty and to just focus on enjoying her bike. My husband hasn't stopped grilling me about how I disrespected and undermined him and managed to make our daughter hate him after making him look like the bad guy. I again said he shouldn't have touched the bike. End of the story. He called me a thief and juvenile for taking money from his savings and being sneaky about it. Am I the idiot for the way I got the bike back?
Story is about a young man who exacted his epic revenge on his awful uncle after years of mistreatment from him dating back to OP's dad's childhood. Then the uncle wouldn't stop insulting his family after OP failed high school, even calling his mom cheap, so he devised a plan to ruin his uncle's life for good. Now let's read the story. So this story happened a few years ago, back in 2016 when I was in my senior year of high school. I will start with some info about the victim of the story, or in better terms, the a-hole that got what he deserved in the end. My dad has 3 siblings, all older than him, and all equally horrible human beings. They tormented my dad for years and made his childhood hell after their parents' divorce due to him being slightly darker in skin tone than them. Grandma is white, grandpa is brown-skinned. They were awful racist a-holes, and the worst of them was my older uncle, which he was a big bully and a snob that saw himself better than anyone else. All the bullying and the bad treatment messed up my dad mentally, so much that he became a raging alcoholic, which made my life a living hell as a result, till I moved out 2 years ago, and caused me many traumas that I am still dealing with till this day. Anyways, in my country, the most important year in your life is your last high school year. It ends with a nationwide exam that determines if you can even go to university or not, and the success rate in this exam is fairly low. Basically, if you fail, it's either you drop out and move to low-paying jobs that will never amount to anything due to our country's bad and declining economic state, or you just keep repeating till you get your degree and go to a university that you don't even want to be in. But at least it's a safety net that can get you out of the country hopefully one day. Things did not go well for me due to family issues and me having undiagnosed ADHD at the time. That was causing me a lot of academic problems at the time without me knowing the cause, which in turn gave me some sort of depression. Goes without saying, that year ended up in me failing. And due to the importance of that exam, people saw it as a shame and kind of a big letdown. Needless to say, due to the long introduction, my family never had a relationship with my uncles, especially that they looked down on us due to my father being an alcoholic and us being dirt poor, which made them think less of us. Bear in mind, they stole all what my dad inherited from his father, including a house and a piece of land that could have lifted us at least to a mid-class level. Lo and behold, my big uncle that I last saw when I was 7 came to visit us 3 days after failing to get my diploma. I already did not like the guy after all the stories that I heard about him, and his visit felt weird. Like he had no business being around us at all, and somehow he came uninvited. My mom sat him down and started making the usual small talk, and then she called me saying that he wanted to say hi. I went, and the conversation went as follows. "Uncle, oh, look how much you've grown up. It's been a while since I've seen you. You look just like your dad. The apple does not fall far from the tree after all. Even in terms of being a successful person, you're following his footsteps." Then make the loudest and sarcastic evil laugh ever. Me, what do you mean by this? Uncle, well, I heard you failed your high school. Guess this branch of the family is bound to be the loser side. Me, I guess you better shut your mouth and screw off. No one wants you here anyways. Uncle, guess your cheap mom did not raise you well. What did I expect from hood rats like you? After that, things devolved into a shouting match and he left. After what happened, I was mad for a while. I couldn't forget the humiliation, and I decided that one day I will exact some revenge, and I started plotting. I did some digging, till I discovered that all his businesses and assets are on his wife's name, and he basically owns nothing due to him committing tax fraud and ripping off his former business associate out of a lot of money, before declaring bankruptcy and transferring the money and everything he owns to his wife to evade taxes. I came to contact with former employees that agreed to testify if this stuff ever came to court, due to him being an awful human being overall, and treating them like absolute trash while they worked for him. Move forward a few months, and trust me guys, I made this account just to tell this story, because what happened later was basically a gift from the gods that helped this story go from pro-revenge to nuclear really quick. I couldn't even hope for a better outcome than this. He came to our house again to speak to my dad, because he wanted to make a golden custom ring for his daughter for her 10th birthday. My dad is a jeweler. While he is in our house, he called out for me asking for a phone charger because his phone is dying. At that moment, I almost jumped from glee. It's my chance to get his phone and dig around. Maybe I can find any documents or emails that can be used later in a police case I was assembling against him. I told him I don't have a brick, but I can charge his phone with a cable from my laptop. Him not knowing any better like the boomer he is, he gave me the phone without batting an eye. His phone had a passcode and asking for it was too suspicious, so my plan to check his email went down the drain, but still I removed his SD card, put it in my laptop, and copied all his files, charged his phone and gave it back. He eventually left, and boom, I locked my room and started to check all the files. I found nothing at all. But as I was giving up, I found a well-hidden file with few videos on it, and then I struck gold. A full-blown tape of him with another woman, with his face fully available, clear as daylight, and I was literally singing to myself from excitement. The revenge. For a few weeks I made a Facebook account, made it look like it's his mistress's account, made a bunch of other accounts that looked like friends and family commenting and interacting with her. After that I added his wife and texted her saying that I am her husband's mistress. She did not believe me at first, until I gave her too much personal info that I knew about him for her to keep not believing me. Told her that he lied and said they were divorced and promised me marriage. She requested to talk to me on the phone, and I made a female friend help out by lending me her voice. She was destroyed, and I sent her the tape as proof. After that, she filed for divorce immediately and sued him for infidelity, which lost him custody and visitation rights to his girls. She took everything from him, even the house and all his money and assets that were on her name. Overnight, he became homeless with 0 penny to his name. But that was not enough for me. I met up with his former business partner through a former employee, who especially hated my uncle's guts and told him everything, and that the employees are willing to testify against him in court, and he agreed to filing a lawsuit. The cherry on the top came when his ex-wife testified that he threatened her safety and her kids' safety if she did not let him put the assets on her name by force. And she literally pulled out phone recordings that she had of him being awful, and him saying that he will end them all if she did not let him basically use her as a tax evasion tool, and that she was scared to use these due to her fear for her children's safety. Due to their previous divorce case, the judge needed to hear no more, and that man got hit by 15 years in jail so fast that he couldn't even comprehend what happened before he was on his way to the slammer. He will never see his family again, and he will never have his fortune back. Just to rub some more insult to injury, I visited him a year ago and I just said one sentence: "This would have never happened if you just did not call me a loser," and left. The look on his face while he pieced everything together almost cured my depression. I never told my involvement in this story to a soul except my little sister, my female friend that helped me, and now you guys, but I had to make him know just to be able to finally sleep at night.
I was working at the beauty supply store. It was a huge beauty supply store. This beauty supply store might as well have been a motherfucking Walmart. I mean, it wasn't that big, but it was big. When I started working there, I don't want to be that girl that's like, everybody hated me. But literally, y'all, all of the girls that worked there, because mind you, there were no dudes working there. That store was literally just a hub for estrogen. Like, you guys know how girls can be. I'm not gonna generalize girls as a whole and say, you know, all girls are like this, but you guys know how girls have a tendency to be. So when I started working there, a lot of them weren't really willing to get to know me. They didn't really care to get to know me. They weren't really helpful when I had asked them questions and stuff like that because I was new, and a lot of them had been working there for a minute. So, you know, if I had a question, none of them would really try to help me. They were stank as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, they were stank. And one thing about me is I know how to fight. So it was okay that they were stank because they knew better than to try me for real. They just was like, you know, just real stale personalities, just not the nicest people in the world. But I didn't give a fuck because either I was gonna ask somebody else or I was gonna figure it out myself. I was just there to get my coins. I wasn't there to make no friends. I didn't really give a fuck. I wasn't setting out to make friends, but I did end up making a friend who I'm talking about in this story. And it was kind of like, it happened naturally. She kind of like came on like really strong, like one of those people with a really strong personality, really bubbly, really nice. So she was really talking to me a lot, very helpful. So, you know, I let that friendship kind of blossom naturally or whatever. The girl I'm talking about that I ended up being friends with or cool with, I'm going to name her Roach. And this isn't even me being funny about how she looks or anything like that. She was a decent looking girl. The reason I'm calling her Roach is because, y'all, roaches are real nasty in the dark. When it get dark, the roaches come out. Not in my house. Okay, not in my house. But yeah, she was real nasty in the dark, y'all. So we're just gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that later. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna call her Roach. So her name is Roach. There were 4 like sections of the beauty supply store. So there was a cosmetic area, of course, with makeup, lashes, all that stuff, clothes, the main floor, and then there was wigs in the back. In the back of the store, there were wigs. I was really good at being a cashier, and I was really hopeful that that's all they would want me to do because, y'all, that store was big. They had switched me out between sections, and to be honest, they really switched all of us just depending on what they needed and who was there and, you know, how busy we were. But there were girls that were predominantly at their certain sections of the store, and I just happened to be on the main floor predominantly. So obviously the clothes had to have like a sensor on there, and I had like a real hard time with that, not only because I had longer nails, but just because they were very picky. At that store, they were so picky about where on the clothing item you had to put the sensor, and it would like differ per item, and it was just a lot. So I would ask her a lot, you know, like, is this okay to put the sensor right here and stuff like that. So I would go to her section a lot. So me and Roach ended up being pretty close. Like I said, we exchanged numbers and we would text each other like, hey, when are you coming in? Are you gonna be in tomorrow? Pretty much stuff like that. We were as close as co-workers could be, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say we were besties linking all the time and stuff like that. At this point, we had not linked. We just talked a lot at work. We would eat in the workroom together. We were just like always talking, like, and literally, y'all, she was the only person I talked to. It would be crickets when I'm there with anybody else, or people would just be looking at me funny. But then when she was there, y'all, we was kiki-kiing. It was a vibe. Like, she was cool as fuck. So I ended up telling Roach about my boyfriend, which, y'all, my boyfriend at the time is the same boyfriend I have now because we got together in 2019, like right after I graduated. We lived together in my brother's house. We didn't have our own place. We were getting back, or like we were getting on our feet, and she was living with her boyfriend because, you guys, we had an age difference. She was probably like 22 or 23 at the time, and I was 18 going on 19 at the time. So I don't know if that's weird to a lot of people, you know, the age difference, but I have a lot of older friends, and even in high school I had a lot of older friends, and I'm friends with my brother's wife, and she's like 25, so I never really thought anything of her wanting to be friends with me, even though I was younger than her. I'm gonna get into the red flags that I always end up, you know, telling you guys about, just things that I noticed at the time but didn't really take seriously or didn't realize they were red flags at the time. The first weird thing that she ended up doing was, a lot of times she would point out things things about my body, or just things like strange things you wouldn't say to somebody, maybe to your best friend, but in like a funny way, because it wasn't even just what she was saying, it was the way she would say it. For instance, the beauty supply store was pretty cold. Like, our manager kept it really cold in there, which, y'all, I'm not complaining because I love being cold. I hate when it's hot. But yeah, it was often really cold in the store. So she would make comments about how you could see like my chocolate chips through my shirt or whatever because it was cold. And it kind of was weird to me how she would say stuff like that, because like I said, we weren't friends for that long, and like we just didn't talk to each other like that. Like, I just was kind of caught off guard when she started making comments like that. And then I remember one time I had like, we just had a work shirt. We didn't have no like big uniform. We just had to wear black pants, whether it's leggings, workout pants, or some black skinny jeans, or some black khaki pants, like something like that. I would have on leggings and she would say how you can see through them, or she would even, I remember one time she even commented about my print, like you could see with my leggings, because you know, fat mom. But she shouldn't have said that. Like, why are you saying that? She would also call me like baby and stuff, which I'm not saying that's a red flag, because with my friends, y'all, even though I'm bi, which at the time she didn't even know that I was, because again, I just told her I had a boyfriend and that was it. But even though I am, like, I have interest in girls, I don't flirt with my friends. Like, I call my friends babe or baby, or like we play like how normal friends play, but they know I'm not hitting on them. Like, for one, I would never like my friends in that type of way. I just looked at it as that, like she was just one of those friends that, you know, will call you honey or some shit. Like, she just talks like that. A lot of times that we would be in the break room eating, she would be talking to me about her boyfriend. At first it was normal to me, because she would say things like how her boyfriend is so nice to her, how he treats her so well, which I guess that's normal for a lot of people. For me, y'all, let me put y'all on game. Never brag about your boyfriend or your significant other to somebody that you don't really know like that, because y'all, a lot of girls will tell you that your relationship is so cute, or you and your boyfriend are so cute whole time. They literally want to get bent over by your boyfriend. Like, a lot of girls are weird like that, and I know not all girls are like that. Some girls are genuine when they say, oh, y'all are so cute. Like, you know, some girls, of course, they're telling the truth, but this girl, I didn't know her. So it was weird to me how she was just like going in about how good of a boyfriend he is, how cute he is, and all this stuff. And I didn't really care, to be honest with y'all. Like, I didn't even talk to her about my boyfriend half as much as she talked to me about hers. She started talking about how much her boyfriend went to the gym, how good he made her feel, you know, how good in bed that he was, or how big that he was. Just almost as if she was putting him on the market, or like she was promoting him, or like self-promoting. Like, I was just like, well, not self-promoting, promoting her man. Like, why are you telling me that? Like, that for sure is something you never tell another girl, like how big he is. Why is you telling me that, girl? I just kind of thought maybe that's just what she does, you know, maybe she's just comfortable with me enough. Like, I didn't want to judge her, so I would just be there eating my salad or eating my food and just be like, okay, girl, okay, cool. Like, okay, oh, for real, oh, okay, girl, okay. Like, I didn't really have nothing to say, because what do you say to that? Oh, like, for real? Let me see. Like, the fuck? There's nothing that you can say to that. The thing that was weird to me was that she never really asked me about my relationship. She never really cared about my relationship. When I would talk about my boyfriend in like a normal person way, like, you know, this is how we met, or this is how long we've been together, or, you know, I'm going on a date or something like that, she didn't really care. Like, she would change the subject to be about her man, but then she'd make it weird. So I'm like, One day at work, she asked me if I wanted to come over her house after work. It was a series that came out in 2019 that we both watched, and she said, you know, you can come over, we can cook salmon. And y'all know, if y'all know anything about me, I like to cook some salmon. So she was like, we can cook some salmon, we can watch Trinkets, like we can just chill or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure. My boyfriend was busy that night. I didn't really have nothing to do, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. I rode with her to her house after work, and we were just chilling at her house. So her boyfriend was at the house, and at first he was being normal. And when I mean normal, like, usually, okay, so if you guys have a boyfriend that you live with, I feel like you guys could relate to me. A lot of times when you have company come, your best friend comes over or your homegirl comes over, a lot of times your boyfriend does not want nothing to do with what the girls got going on. Like, the boy will be hiding in the room the whole time, unless y'all are all three like mutual friends. I know my boyfriend, he just be in the room playing the game, or he'll be in the living room playing the game while we in the room. Like, it's not that he can't come around us, or he has to hide, or he has to be in the room, but a lot of times I see that boys just be letting the girls chill and just like go mind their business, because who the fuck, like, niggas don't want to sit and have girl talk or fucking watch girly YouTube videos and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just be letting us have our time. I'm gonna give him the name Possum. I'm gonna name him Possum, because, you know, possums be out in the dark and shit too. So Possum kept coming in the room, like when we was cooking, he was coming in the kitchen asking if he could help. Mind you, what dude is finna help us make some stuffed salmon? Like, boy, you know damn well you just be making ramen noodles. Let's not play that game. So I thought that was kind of odd, but I didn't really, you know, I thought he was just trying to be nice to the guests, you know, hospitality or some shit. But then it was like when we were done cooking already and we was like in the living room just chilling, he kept coming in there and he was just like, what are y'all doing? Oh, like, and then like looking at the show that we was watching, even though I'm sure he wasn't interested in that show at all. He had asked us, like, asked me if I wanted to smoke. I said no. He asked me if I wanted something to drink. I said no. I said I wasn't really into drinking. Like, I was lying. I did definitely drink, but I didn't want to drink there. Like, I didn't want to be at her house for the first time drinking. Like, that just wasn't me. I didn't want to drink. So I told him no. And he finally left us alone. About 30 minutes from that time, I ended up wanting to go home. Not because she was being rude or anything like that. I just was getting tired. It was getting late. And I knew that she was going to have to take me home because, like I said, my boyfriend was out and he was busy. And he would not have been able to pick me up. It was 30 minutes away from my house. So I didn't want to ask her hella late, like, hey, can you take me home? I didn't want it to come up that she was, you know, she wanted me to spend the night or something like that. I just wanted to go the fuck home. I ended up asking her, hey girl, do you think in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes you could take me home? I'm really tired. I'm ready to go home. And she's like,
girl, I'm tired too. Like, I really don't want to drive. Like, I'm super tired. I don't think it's good if I drive tired.
And I was just like, yeah. Well, I need to go home. There were no available Ubers around her area. There weren't, like, at this time, there weren't really Ubers that were available. And yeah, you told me you would take me home, so baby, you taking me home. I don't give a fuck. She was like, that's fine. Like, girl, of course you're gonna go home. I'm just saying that, you know, I don't really want to drive, and like driving at night is not good for me because I can't see. Like, y'all, mind you, this girl goes to the club almost every weekend. Like, I see her driving on Snapchat. Like, I be seeing her driving at night all the time. What did you talking about? She ended up saying like, oh, I can just ask my boyfriend to drive you home. Like, he'll be cool with it, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm good. So I told her, like, girl, I would just be more comfortable if you took me, or if at least you came with us. Like, you know, I don't want your boyfriend to just take me home. Like, I'm good off that. So she's like, fine, but I'm sitting in the back seat because I want to lay, like, put my feet up and lay out because I'm tired. And I was like, okay. So we get in the car. I'm sitting in the front with her boyfriend. She's in the back seat. And y'all, literally like 5 minutes into the drive, this girl is sitting up straight normal, like just like this. She's not laying her feet up. She's not like closing her eyes. She's not looking tired at all. Why her boyfriend started playing R&B? I'm talking about diving in her ocean. I'm talking about riding on that pony. I'm talking about all the little, you know, old school R&B bops. He's playing them, and he's playing them loud. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm just waiting to get home. Like, I'm literally telling myself, like, girl, never again. Like, I know a lot of that might sound dramatic to y'all, but I'm just getting icky, nasty feelings. Like, how would your boyfriend give me the ick and he's not even my boyfriend? So I'm like, so I'm just like on my phone, y'all. I'm scrolling. She's not really talking to me. I mean, but there's loud music playing, so I didn't really, you know, expect her to talk to me. But we get around close to my area or whatever, and he ends up stopping at a McDonald's. So I'm like, here we go. Like, I am not trying to get no McDonald's. Y'all could have got this on the way back. Isn't your girlfriend tired? Like, can you just take me home? So he ends up pulling up to McDonald's, and he's like, you don't mind, you know, if I stop here? And I'm like, I guess not. You're already in the drive-thru, my guy. Like, what do you mean I don't mind? So he goes through, and he gives himself, like, I don't remember what it was. It was probably like some fries or something. He asked me, do you want anything? Like, I can get you something. And I'm like, no. I want you to get me the fuck home. That's what I want you to get me the fuck home. So when we get home, he parks the car or whatever, and my friend, or Roach, in the back seat, she sits up or whatever, and she's just talking to me like, okay, so I'm gonna see you at work, girl. When's the next time you want to come over? We should link. We should all go do this. We should all go do that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll see you soon. Like, I don't know. And y'all, this man leans forward to me like close. Like, I wouldn't say like he's not in my face like he could kiss me. Like, he's not that close. But he gets in kind of close, and he's just like, yeah, like, you should come over again. Like, you should come over. And I was just like, so I look back at my friend. I'm looking at Roach like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna see you guys later. Literally, I start to like grab for my keys, because my keys have, the key to my brother's house was on my keys. So I was like, and y'all, literally my boyfriend wasn't home, my brother wasn't home. I think my sister-in-law was there, but she was like asleep or something. So the doors were still locked. They locked the doors, but because I have a key, and Jordan, my boyfriend, also has a key. So I had to get my keys to unlock the door. So I go to grab my keys and Possum grabs my keys and he starts like holding them away from me. But he's playing, like he's playfully doing it. As in, like, he doesn't have a straight face or like a mad face or anything like that, which that doesn't justify what he's doing. But at the time, I didn't really think that he was doing anything with like bad intentions. I was just like, bro, this nigga can't catch a hint. Like, I'm trying to go home. He grabs the keys and he puts his hand on my leg. And at this point, y'all, I don't play those games. Like, I don't know what's going on here because your girlfriend is literally in the back seat. And I keep looking at her and she keeps just looking at me like, so I don't know what's going on, but I don't like this because I have a boyfriend. So regardless of what weird shit is going on here, I don't got time for this because I got a man. So I get mad and I'm like, bro, why is you putting your hands on me? Like, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on. I got a boyfriend and so do you. He's right here and he's touching me. What's happening? Like, yeah, I felt like I was literally in an alternate reality. Like, what are y'all doing? He backs up and he smacks his teeth and he throws my keys on the ground, like on the ground of the car or whatever, like the floor. And I'm looking at Roach like, bro, what the fuck? So I grab my keys and I get out the car. And as I'm getting out the car, I just hear him cussing under his breath. And he's saying like, this lame ass. And I hear him say to Roach, y'all, I thought you said she was gonna be with it. With what? Literally, y'all, Roach just smacked her teeth like she didn't say nothing. And I just got out the car and went in the house because I thought like, y'all, I was so mad. I literally started texting my boyfriend what happened. When I got in the house, like they just skirted off out the road like mad as. So I go to text Roach and I'm like, I sent her this long paragraph, y'all. I wish I still had it. It was like, girl, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm not trying to bash y'all's situation. Like, if y'all are open, you know, poly relationship, then that's y'all. Like, some people, you know, have those type of dynamics going on. But you know that I don't. Like, I have a boyfriend. I've told you this. You never asked me, oh, are y'all an open situation? You never told me that y'all were an open situation. It's disrespecting my relationship. It's disrespecting my boyfriend. And it's disrespecting me. Because even if I was single, you should have told me what you was trying to do, what type of time you was on, so that I'm not uncomfortable. And like, if she would have told me this before I went to her house, I wouldn't have gone to her house. And that's no excuse for her to not tell me, like, in case she was worried I wouldn't come or some shit. That's not, girl, they trying to trap me. Don't fucking play with me. So I ended up sending her the message and y'all, it did not go through. That bitch blocked me. She blocked me. I literally went to work the next day and I fucking quit. I did not like that at all. She wasn't there, like, luckily for her, because I probably would have got sturdy on her ass. I probably would have whooped that whole ass. I probably would have walked her like a dog. But she wasn't there and I just quit. I know a lot of y'all would probably be like, girl, why would you let that situation like ruin your coins or like stop you from getting to a bag or some shit like that? But no, I am not finna work at no place after that awkward ass, weird ass situation happened. On top of, I don't have no other friends there. I don't have, and like I said, you might not work somewhere to make friends, but you don't want to work somewhere where you literally dread going to work every day. Everybody's rude to you, nobody helps you, and on top of that, I'm making minimum wage. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, what the fuck is the point? I already needed a reason to quit because of how like annoying and tiring the job was itself. So yeah, I just quit, y'all, and she blocked me off of Snapchat, she blocked me off Instagram, and that was the last time that I saw her, and that shit was beyond me. But y'all, fun fact, around when I was working at the beauty supply store, that's when I first started TikTok, and I didn't really take it seriously. It really was like a joke at first, just doing it for fun, and like slowly TikTok started to blow up that I was doing and stuff. But when I quit the beauty supply store, that's when I started doing loyalty tests, and that's when I blew up crazy. Like, that is literally the like sequence of events that got me to where I am now, which I'm still going, and I'm still like, you know, I'm still trying to get to an even bigger goal or whatever. But literally, if I would have never quit the beauty supply store, I really doubt that I would have started loyalty tests and that I would have had that much time in my hands to like make videos and stuff. And yeah, so everything happens for a reason. I'm not mad at it. I don't regret, you know, the situation happening, because a lot of situations that happened to me that I have like a story to tell about is like part of why I am who I am today, and I'm grateful for it because like I'm a bad bitch and I love who I am. So Yeah, y'all, that's the end of this story. I haven't talked to her since this happened, and I have gone back to that beauty supply store since. I don't live in that same city anymore, but sometimes like I'm crossing that city or I'm seeing somebody that I know in that city, and I'll go to that beauty supply store. And literally, y'all, nobody that I worked with in 2019 still works there today, other than like the little managers and stuff. One time that I was buying something there, I asked the girl like, did she like working here? And she told me no. She said she was about to quit. She says everybody quits. Literally, y'all, that place is so toxic, and I'm so happy that I'm out of this situation. And all the girls that are rude to me or were rude to me at that job probably watch me now. Girl, you're a hater, because you know I didn't do nothing to you. Literally, I was so nice to all those girls, and all of them were just rude as fuck and stiff and stale. But that's okay. People that are good to other people get blessed, and that's what the fuck I am.
The seasons are changing, the nights ever fading. It's time we left the ground. Let's leave for an eternity. Guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.